And we're live. Hello, it's Bill, the Knee Pain Guru, and welcome to this week's edition of Ask Dr. Beck.
Charlie, good morning, everyone.
How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad.
Excellent. What of let's see, kind of a recap of stuff we have up the pain relief portal with the Comella Foundation. So we're diverting people, getting people support what they need for those that have been interviewed on the Pain Education Podcast. We have the Pain Education Podcast and we have Ask Dr. Beck. So here we are with, are there any themes that you've been seeing working with your patients over this past week?
Wow, you would ask me a question I was not prepared for.
Okay.
Feet. Oh my goodness, yes, feet.
Okay.
Many people coming in with foot issues. And as those people come in and they've been treated by other folks, which would include me, and the pain's still there, it makes me look deeper and figure out what it is that I missed first or second time around, and that what I wasn't taught in school, and then figure out how to help those people and get them pain-free. So feet, that's been my issue for the last week.
Okay. And how, this is the question in general, if you or someone else if you have a patient, you have somebody that's in pain, that's working with someone, such as yourself, another holistic healthcare practitioner, doctor, physical therapist, whoever it is, how does that person know whether to go, okay, I need to continue on, I need to persevere forward, or I need to cut ties here and I need to find somebody else? I think that's a common question that many people struggle with. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not an easy answer.
Exactly. And I'm going to say the answer is loaded. So I will give you the information that I give my patients to try to keep me honest and the relationship between me and my patients healthy.
Okay.
So let's say you're a brand new patient. I've never seen you before. So we're starting off on visit number 1. If we get good change on visit number 1 and you experience relief, even if that relief isn't complete or if it doesn't last for a long period of time, what we've proven is that your body has some mechanical issues and that we can work together and make change in those mechanical issues. So we established that number with visit number 1. If that's the case, then you keep working with that person until either your situation is resolved or until you reach a plateau. And when you reach a plateau, then you ask, can that person offer something different, or do I need to find a different person to finish up my journey, my healing journey? Okay, so I'm going to call that best case scenario. Then second scenario would be you see me visit number 1, you notice some relief, but it lasts for, let's say, an hour. We'll just make it good here. And you come back and you say, you know what, I felt better for an hour. Now I feel exactly the way that I did before. And to me, I think, well, I may have been having a bad day. You may have been having a bad day, or we both may have been having a bad day. I'm going to treat you again, and we're going to see what the results are. After the second visit, if you come back and you say, you know, I had another hour's worth of relief and that was it, I think to myself, either I had an incorrect diagnosis or an incomplete diagnosis, or you need to see another practitioner who can do for you what I cannot. For me to continue to see you and give you only an hour's worth of relief, at some point, it's unethical.
Right.
Because you really want to be seeing results for the time and money you're putting into it.
Sure.
I apply those same things with every practitioner that's come in. And, you know, so if someone comes in and says, well, I've had X, Y, or Z problem, and I've been seeing provider A, and I've been seeing them for 10 years, and it's never gotten better. To me, That's an issue that should have been addressed long ago. If you've been seeing somebody for a long time and your stuff hasn't resolved, unless you have an agreement with that person, then you say, you know what, you make me feel better, and I'm paying for the feeling better, not the getting better. That's okay, as long as you're conscious of it. And so anyway, that's the deal that I set up with my patients. I want them to see results relatively quickly. And then after we get results, start getting results, even if we're only creeping along 2 or 3% every visit, as long as we're both clear, we're still making progress, I continue on. But if you reach a plateau with me, then it's my job to find somebody who can help you.
Is you give homework to clients? Like,
on rare occasions
you give homework, and in your approach, because everybody's approach is going to be different, slightly different. Is it, you can fix somebody, you can work with them in an appointment or in a session. They don't have, and they can feel better, but they go back into their life and they have habits and patterns and thoughts and emotions and things like that that can throw them right back into the pain that they were experiencing when they first came to see you. So is it more of a function that you didn't make that lasting change because you didn't do something, the correct treatment or the correct diagnosis? Or is it more a function that the client went back into the environment that is contributing to the issue that they're suffering with?
Okay.
You see, like alcohol. Okay,
it's, you could take question with a bigger answer.
You could take the bottle of vodka away from the alcoholic, but then they go back to the bar and they get served again.
Correct. Okay, so in order to give you a more clear answer, we need to go back to the mind, body, spirit triune.
Okay.
So we'll take body first. If you had trauma, and it's summertime, let's just say that you were going off the diving board in the pool and you slipped and you hit the diving board. Theoretically, if I treat that trauma's gone.
Right.
Okay. So then you have recovered. That's the body part. If it's an emotional thing that is driving you, and we'll say your beloved pet passed away and you're struggling with that. Well, we all know that takes time to heal. So then my job is to, if I can't do it alone, find people to help guide you through that healing process, however long it takes. And so in that respect, we may see people who come in, symptoms are better, symptoms are worse, but we've established that the primary thing that's going on with you is emotional. And so we keep working with that. If it's a belief system issue, so that would be spiritual in my thought process, then what we have to do is figure out how to help your belief system. And I mean, your belief system could be that you don't want to work and you want to be a gazillionaire. Although that's possible, it may not be probable. And so how do we get that belief system somewhere closer to reality so that from your perspective, the world doesn't continue to ding you because it's not giving you $1 million a day?
Got it. That makes sense. We have a couple people online here watching. If you have any questions, please put those in the comments section. Please give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the Comella Foundation YouTube channel, and turn on notifications for future videos. Let's see. We have a question that came in from a Facebook user. Do you think that some people release resolve faster than others? We're trying to make it a show, Charlie. You got to give more than yes or no answers.
So let me slow it down in my mind so that I can give you an answer that makes more sense than yes. How about that? I'll add paragraphs.
Perfect.
A lot of it has to do with your ability to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is to say, the healthier you are in body, the healthier your mindset, the easier it is that you can adapt to a situation. So let's give you then 2 examples of why people release or resolve faster than others. If you're an athlete and, let's just say decent at whatever you do, you don't have to be Olympic quality, but pretty good. Your body then is able to adapt because it's in better physical shape. If you apply that same rationale to your mindset, so that if something goes wrong, you act more like a weeble and you wobble around it rather than getting knocked over and staying down, you adapt better. Those people tend to get better resolution and more quickly. If you are a couch potato and set in your ways, you still change, but you typically change at a slower pace.
Mm-hmm. So what I hear you saying is those that are more proactive in taking care of themselves and do things to live a healthy lifestyle will resolve
Yes.
their issues, their traumas faster than those that do not.
Correct.
Okay, awesome. Okay, if you have questions you'd like to ask Dr. Beck anything about pain, resolution of pain, the practitioner or who you're working with, please feel free to ask those questions, and we will certainly pose those here for Dr. Beck to address. Let's see. I'm looking at some questions that came in here. Let's see. Okay, question is bone on bone in the left knee, they say. I like to walk and need to walk and continue to lose weight. I wear a brace when I walk, which helps. No real pain when walking with the brace. It's when I am sitting for long periods with knees bent, then it starts to bother me. I don't want to stop walking for months to heal the body and then start up and it begins all over. Most of the pain is behind the knee and occasionally in the knee. Does arthritis cream help?
Multiple questions there.
Multiple.
So again, we'll tease it apart. If we look at the diagnosis of bone on bone,
Okay.
and we look at the cartilage in the knee as having a poor blood supply, which we talked about before, so it heals slowly, but it has lots of nerves. Thus, when it's irritated, it gives you issues. I would expect to see exactly the opposite symptoms. That when the knee is unloaded and the cartilage has a little more space between it, you don't have pain. When you stand up and walk or stand for a long period of time, the pain comes. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the first thing then is that I would question if it is an accurate and or complete diagnosis.
Okay.
That'd be my first thing. If you were to come into my office and give me the same thing that I'm going to think, even though you may have a diagnosis of bone on bone, is that knee moving correctly?
Okay.
And the knee is a hinge joint. And so if you look, yet that hinge joint has to have a little bit of play. Otherwise, when you stepped on an uneven surface and your knee tried to move in a different direction than straight, you'd break your knee. Important. And what that person is suggesting is that the play in their knee isn't optimal. Mm-hmm. If there's pain behind the knee, usually that means that the tibia, which is the shin bone, has moved forward at the knee joint itself. And it's something that in my office takes a couple of minutes to treat, and then the motion returns to normal. And then, like I was saying before, we see if it stays. And if it stays, then great. We, would call it a fix.
Okay.
If it doesn't stay, we try to figure out why.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some folks who literally drove to Indiana from they were going to Florida before to get treatment. And they came up to see me, and one of the guys was shorter than his friends. He was a farmer, and he continued to have knee pain. I'd see him. We'd treat the knee pain. He'd get better in the office. He'd come back and say, it's worse. Okay, we treated again, got better, came back, it's worse. And we finally figured out that when he drove his pickup truck, rather than his knee hanging off of the edge of the seat, he had to scoot back far enough that his leg was on the seat.
Charlie, you back yet? We had a little bit of a
Glitch.
internet glitch.
Yep.
Oh, so he scooted back.
He scooted back on the seat,
pushed the tibia forward,
made the front edge of the seat act like the fulcrum on a seesaw.
Yeah.
And when his foot hung down, it literally pulled the tibia forward at the knee.
Okay.
And so things like that can happen to people.
Sure.
And that's why, after a couple of visits, if things aren't getting better, you start asking questions you're able to tease those things out usually.
Yeah. It's almost like you're becoming a detective to kind of figure out exactly what the pattern is going on in their life. That's brilliant. Was there more you were wanting to talk around that?
That's basically it. Now, then there was a question of, does Asper cream help? Arthritis cream. It might. Yes. I mean, I would try it, but if it's a mechanical issue, topical creams like that, they may provide temporary relief, but they're not going to fix the underlying issue.
Okay. Yeah. Structure governs function.
Correct.
Okay, we got another question that came in. When treating a client, do you take into account the length of time carrying an injury to how long recovery after treatment may take, if not immediately?
Your short answer is, well, yes, of course. But let me give you a longer answer. So what I learned in school is that for every year you had the injury, it took about a month's worth of treatment. So you had the injury for 10 years, it would take 10 months of treatment to make it go away. Mm-hmm. And then I got into clinical practice, and I no longer believe that is accurate. When you have the right diagnosis and you apply the correct treatment, the pain can go away immediately. 10 years of back pain takes, again, with the right diagnosis. And I will say that I was taught very well in school, but I have learned many new diagnoses because what I learned in school didn't help the patient, and I had to think in the moment. But 10 years of back pain goes away in let's say a 3 or a 10-minute treatment, but not to return. So it is possible. It doesn't work with everybody. Some patients, their bodies, it's like they need time to process. And so you're chipping away at the layers of stuff that they bring in. Other people just needed a helping hand and one treatment, and they're better.
Okay, we'll go with that, because that there's a lot swirling around in terms of layers and levels of stuff that go on in the knotted ball of fascia and tension and mental and emotional. Like, there's lots of components to that.
Yep.
But it's interesting. I've not heard that before, that 1 month of treatment per 1 year of having that issue. And then even what you're suggesting, that we get the right diagnosis, or which takes years to perfect. I mean, that's not something that happens overnight. And then the right treatment, and the pain can go away. 10 years of back pain can go away in, 10, 15 minutes. That's
Right.
that's awesome to know that is possible. And I think what that does, by you making that statement, it raises the bar in terms of what people can expect. That if you've been suffering, or if you've been going to, a doctor, practitioner, physical therapist for 3 months, 6 months, a year, multiple years, and you're 5%, 10% better, you have to raise the bar in your expectations as to what
Exactly.
the level of
Find the
practice.
practitioner that's able to work with your body.
Right. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Okay, let's see. You have a hard stop here at the top of the hour, correct? If I remember that correctly.
Maybe 4 or 5 minutes afterwards, but yes.
Okay. Well, we're not. We'll get some information. Yeah. Jeez. Have that up there. Let's see. Let's see. We want to share the stuff about the Comella Foundation. For those that were interested in more information, for submitting a question, actually, this will be better. Submitting a question, it'll be in the description box below if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or other social media platforms. All the information will be in the description box below. You can also go to thecomellafoundation.org, to the Ask Dr. Beck tab at the very top of the page to submit your question. We do these Ask Dr. Beck episodes each Wednesday. So you could submit your question, and then on the following Wednesday, we will be asking Dr. Beck to answer those questions. Let's see. So you had feet, a lot of feet this week.
Yes. Learning new patterns that the bones can move in.
Okay. Learning patterns. Anything in particular? Dropped arches, issues with the heel.
Without having a foot model, it's hard to show.
Okay.
Heel itself. So
Okay.
that's the calcaneus. The Achilles tendon attaches there.
Okay.
And so the Achilles tendon's on the back. It attaches firmly to the bone, and what comes off the front is the plantar fascia. Okay, so the calcaneus acts like a pulley.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you walk, the bottom of the foot either gets relaxed or tightens, and the back of the foot, which attaches to the Achilles tendon, flexes or extends, relaxes or gets tight. And the rest of the foot hangs basically from the front of the heel. Okay. Well, it was a duh thing after I figured it out, but the heel can move down and the rest of the foot can move up right at that joint.
Okay.
Or the heel can move up and the rest of the foot can move down.
If the heel moves up and the rest of the foot goes down, that would indicate a dropped arch.
No, this is just movement at one joint.
Oh,
it has nothing to do with the arch.
Okay.
And it's something that they didn't teach in school.
Okay.
And so these people would still have foot pain even after I'd gone through and did everything that I've learned so far. And so further investigation, it's like, oh, well, nowhere did I ever read that this joint is supposed to move in this direction. But it certainly seems like it is on more than one person. And so after a while, it's like, okay, I now believe that the book wasn't complete. So I've added new things to check for to get better and more consistent results.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool deal. Let's see. Maybe I can. No, that'll be good. Maybe we could dig into the foot next week a little bit more.
Okay, that'd be great.
We can do that. I could get some images that, or do a share screen kind of thing. We could point in exactly where you're talking about, how the heel moves in relationship to the rest of the foot.
Sounds good.
That would be kind of cool.
26 bones, 144 ligaments. There's lots to talk about.
Excellent. Okay. Well, Charlie, thank you so much taking your time in this week. Appreciate you very much. Once again, if you have questions for Dr. Beck, we'll dig into those next week. You can go to the ComellaFoundation.org/ask Dr. Beck. All of that information's in the description box below. We're going to say goodbye for now, and we will see you next week.
Yep. Have a good week, everyone.